How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Monday, June 28th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Of course, getting started with the NHL because the NHL is in the Stanley Cup. Last night was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final as the defending Stanley Cup champs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, hosted the Northern Division champs, the Montreal Canadiens. And in this matchup, the Lightning were able to beat the Canadiens 5-1, scoring 3 of their goals in the third period. 2 of their goals would come from their right winger, Nikita Kucherov. And with this win overall, they would pick up their very first win of the series. Kucherov would score the first 2 goals of the third period, just for a little bit of context. And following this win, they carry the momentum going into Game 2, which will be played tomorrow night on NBC Sports Network. So that is what's going on with the NHL. As of right now, the Lightning are 3 wins away from a Stanley Cup title, and the Canadiens are 4 wins away. Jumping out to the NBA, as the NBA is dealing with the playoffs as well. The second seed in the West, the Phoenix Suns hosted the 4th seed Los Angeles Clippers in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. And in this matchup, the 4th seed Los Angeles Clippers would beat the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns 116-102 to stay alive in this series. The big difference for the Clippers will come in the first quarter, where they outscored the Suns by 10 points. They would also outscore the Suns by 6 in the third as well. For the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns on the night, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Devin Booker. He finished with 31 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 43 minutes, as he shot 9 for 22 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 9 for 11 from the foul line. Alongside him, their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, out of Wake Forest, would finish with 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists in 36 minutes, as he shot 8 for 19 from the field and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. For the 4th seed Los Angeles Clippers, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George. He would finish with 41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals, alongside 6 turnovers in 41 minutes. He shot 15 for 20 from the field, 30 from 6 from three-point land, and he would shoot a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line on the night, as playoff P was, of course, the best player of the night last night. Their starting point guard, Reggie Jackson, would finish with 23 points and 5 rebounds in 38 minutes, as he shot 8 for 14 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. And then their starting small forward, Marcus Morris Sr., would finish with 22 points in 39 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. With this win, the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns still lead this series 3-2, as one more win would secure a spot for them into the NBA Finals. Game 6 will be played in Los Angeles as the Clippers host the Suns tomorrow on ESPN. So that's, of course, going to be a highly anticipated matchup. So that was what was going on yesterday with the NBA playoffs. Looking forward to what's going on today. Jumping out to Atlanta, it will be Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, as the 5th seed Atlanta Hawks are going to host the 3rd seed Milwaukee Bucks. The 3rd seed Milwaukee Bucks currently hold a 2-1 series lead after taking the series lead after beating the Hawks in Atlanta for Game 3. A win for the Hawks would even the series, and a win for the Bucks would move them 1 win closer to the NBA Finals. So right now, that is what the NBA playoffs are looking like as of right now. Jump into what's going on in the MLB. Starting off in Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Rockies were able to shut the Pirates out, pulling off a 2-1 win to pick up their 32nd win of the season. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start and the loss would end up going to their starting pitcher, Trevor Anderson, or Tyler Anderson, would end up allowing 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 3. With this loss, he is now 3-8 on the season. In their batting lineup, their catcher, Jacob Stallings, would end up going 2 for 4, and the only other player to finish with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Kevin Newman. For the Colorado Rockies, the start and the win would go to Kyle Freeland. This would be his first of the year. He allowed no earned runs and only 3 hits in 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 7. On the season, he's now 1-2. and the save would go to the Rockies closer for the day, Daniel Bard. Bard would allow no earned runs and only one hit in one inning pitched as he would pick up his 11th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder Jonathan Daza would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was the only player on the Rockies with more than one hit. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 32-47. That is currently the fourth best record in the National League West, and that is the third worst record in the National League as a total. They have won 4 of their last 10 games, and they now currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 18.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 29-48. That is the worst record in the National League Central, and that is the second worst record in the entire National League. They've lost 4 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 16 games in the National League Central. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Reds were able to pull up a 12-4 home win after scoring 10 of their 12 runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined. So, of course, big game for them as they were able to take the lead in the bottom of the 7th off of a grand slam from Nick Castellanos. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start would end up going to Spencer Howard. Spencer Howard would allow 2 earned runs in 2.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. The loss would go to the Phillies for second relief pitcher Neftali Feliz. He would go on to allow 3 earned runs in 0.2 innings pitched. He would blow his first save of the year as he is 0-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder Odubel Herrera would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their third baseman Alec Bohm would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as well. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start would go to Wade Miley. He allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The win would go to the Reds' first relief pitcher Heath Hembree. Heath Hembree would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he is 2-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, would go 3 for 5 with 7 RBIs and 2 runs. Castellanos would hit his 27th double of the season, and he would hit his 15th home run of the season. Their future Hall of Fame first baseman, Joey Votto, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as well as he hit his 9th home run of the season. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 39-38. That is the third best record in the National League Central as they've won 4 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 6 games in the division. And with this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 36-40. That is currently the 4th best record in the National League East. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games as they now trail the New York Mets by 5 games in the division. Jumping out to Washington, D.C., the Washington Nationals were able to beat the National League East leading Mets 8-4. And for the New York Mets in this matchup, the start and the loss would be given to Jerad Eickhoff. Eickhoff would allow 5 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Eickhoff is 0-1 on the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Jeff McNeil, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Dominic Smith, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the season. And then their third baseman, Luis Guillorme, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. For the Washington Nationals, the start and the win would be given to Paolo Espino. Espino would allow no earned runs and only 5 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Espino is 2-2 on the year, and the save would be given to the Nationals closer for the day, Brad Hand. He allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this save, he now has 17 on the year. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, will go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 23rd and 24th home run of the season. Their shortstop, Trey Turner, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 13th home run of the season. Their center fielder, Gerardo Parra, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his first home run of the 2021 season, and with this win, the Washington Nationals are now 38-38. That is the second best record in the National League East as they have won their last 2 games. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They now trail the New York Mets by 3 games in the division, and with this loss, the New York Mets are now 40-34. That is currently the best record in the National League East as they currently hold on to the 3rd seed in the National League. They have lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They now sit 3 games ahead of the second place Washington Nationals in the division at the moment, to give a sense of where both these teams are. Jumping out to New York, especially the Bronx specifically, the New York Yankees hosted the Los Angeles Angels, and the Angels were able to pull off a 5-3 win to beat the Yankees to get their 38th win of the season. For the New York Yankees, the start and the loss would end up being given to Michael King. King would allow 3 runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, King is 0-4 on the year. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Gio Urshela, will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 10th home run of the season. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start would be given to Dylan Bundy. Dylan Bundy would allow 2 earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. The win would go to the Angels' first relief pitcher, Jose Suarez. Suarez would allow 1 earned run in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, he's now 3-1 on the year, and the save was given to Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Iglesias would pick up his 14th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Jared Walsh, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their shortstop, Jose Iglesias, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their center fielder, Juan Lagares, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And their premier designated hitter, Shohei Ohtani, finished 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 26th home run of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are now 38-40. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Houston Astros by 9.5 games in the division. With this loss, the New York Yankees are now 40-38. That is the 4th best record in the American League East, as they have now lost their last 4 games. They've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 7.5 games for the division at the moment. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Detroit Tigers, and the Indians were able to pull off a 13-5 home win after scoring 11 of those 13 runs in the first 5 innings. For the Tigers, the start and the loss would be given, of course, to their starting pitcher, Matt Manning. Matt Manning would allow 9 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Manning is 1-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Miguel Cabrera, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Cabrera would hit his 6th home run of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start and the win would be given to Eli Morgan. Morgan would pick up his first win of the season as he allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. He is 1-2 on the season for the Indians. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, will go 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite designated hitter, Jose Ramirez, would go 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. Ramirez would hit his 17th home run of the season. Their first baseman, who in this matchup was Bobby Bradley, happened to be 2 for 5 with a run. Their right fielder, Harold Ramirez, would end up going 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. And then their third baseman, Ernie Clement, would end up going 2 for 4 with 3 runs. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 42-33. That is the 2nd best record in the American League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 2 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 2.5 games for the 2nd American League wildcard spot, as the Indians are the very first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 34-45. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central, as they have lost 5 of their last 10 games as well. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 12 games in the division. Jumping out to Boston, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Red Sox were able to pull up a 6-5 win at home. The score was tied through the 4th inning, and then in the 6th inning, the tie was broken by a Hunter Renfroe solo home run that would give the Red Sox the win. For the Kansas City Royals, the start was given to Danny Duffy. Duffy allowed 4 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss would be given to Josh Staumont. Staumont would allow 1 earned run in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Staumont is 0-2 for Kansas City. In their batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs as Whit Merrifield hit his 7th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Jorge Soler, would end up going 2 for 4. Their first baseman, their first baseman, Carlos Santana, he would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 13th home run of the season. And then their third baseman, Emmanuel Rivera, would go 2 for 4. For the Boston Red Sox, the start was given to Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards would allow 5 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. Well, the win was given to the Red Sox first relief pitcher, Hirokazu Sawamura. Sawamura would allow no earned runs in 1.1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. With this win, Sawamura is 4-0 on the year, and the save was given to Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he would pick up his 17th save of the year. In their batting lineup for the Boston Red Sox, for the Boston Red Sox in their batting lineup for the day, their center fielder Kike Hernandez would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 8th home run of the season. Their right fielder Hunter Renfroe would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 10th and 11th home run of the season. And their first baseman Bobby Dalbec would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Bobby Dalbec would hit his 10th home run of the year. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 48-31. That is the best record in the American League East. They are tied with the Houston Astros for the best record in the American League. They have won their last 4 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They currently sit 1 game ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 33-44. That is the worst record in the American League Central, as they have now lost their last 6 games. They have now lost 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 12 games in the division at the moment, alongside the Detroit Tigers. And jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles were able to pull up a 9-7 win after scoring 5 runs in the 9th inning in order to do so. For the Houston Astros, the start was given to Zach Greinke. Greinke would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss would be given to their setup man, Brandon Belock. Belock would allow 5 earned runs in 1.1 inning pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Belock is 2-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Kyle Tucker, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. And then the Astros third baseman, Robel Garcia, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. For the Baltimore Orioles in this matchup, the start was given to Thomas Eshelman. Eshelman would allow 2 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. The win was given to the Baltimore Orioles setup pitcher Paul Fry. Paul Fry would go on to allow 3 earned runs in 1.1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Fry is 2-2 on the year, and the save was given to their closer Adam Plutko. Plutko would allow no earned runs in 0.2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. He would pick up his first save of the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder Cedric Mullins would go 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their right fielder Austin Hayes would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. He had his 7th home run of the season. Their designated hitter Trey Mancini would go 2 for 5. Their first baseman Ryan Mountcastle will go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs alongside 2 walks. Mountcastle would hit his 14th home run of the season. Their catcher Pedro Severino would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. And with this win, the Baltimore Orioles are now 25-54. That is the worst record in the American League East, and that is the worst record in the American League. They currently hold the second worst record in the entire major leagues. They have won 2 of their last 10 games, and they currently trail the Boston Red Sox by 23 games in the division. With this loss, the Houston Astros are now 48-31. That is the best record in the American League West, as they are now tied with the Red Sox for the best record in the entire American League. They have now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 3 of their last 10 games. They now sit a game and a half ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics in the division to give a sense of where the Astros are. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Chicago Cubs within their division, and the Brewers were able to pull off a 14-4 win after scoring 10 runs in the 8th inning. For the Chicago Cubs, the start would end up going to Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks would allow 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss for the Cubs would go to their second relief pitcher, Ryan Tepera. Tepera would allow 4 earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Tepera is 0-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Ian Happ, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 9th home run of the year. He would be the only player on the Cubs with more than 1 hit. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start would end up going to Freddie Peralta. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win would go to their elite relief pitcher, Devin Williams, the reigning National League Rookie of the Year. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this win, he is now 5-1 on the season for Milwaukee. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Luis Urias, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their shortstop, Willy Adames, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Avi Garcia, would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 15th home run of the season. Their second baseman, Jace Peterson, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their first baseman, Keston Hiura, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 4th home run of the season. And then their center fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr., would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 46-33. That is the best record in the National League Central, as they have now won their last 6 games. They currently hold the 2nd seed in the National League, and they currently sit 4 games ahead of the second-place Chicago Cubs in the division. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 42-37. That is the second-best record in the National League Central, as they have now lost their last 4 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They now currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 4 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they were able to pull off a 7-1 home win, scoring 6 of their 7 runs in the 7th inning to, of course, break the 1-1 tie and pull off their 38th win of the season. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start was given to their starting pitcher, Jake Faria. Faria would allow 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With the loss would go to their first relief pitcher, who in this matchup just happened to be Alex Young. Alex Young would allow 6 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he is now 2-6 on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Josh Rojas, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he would hit his 10th home run of the season. Their third baseman, Abdul Cabrera, will go 2 for 4 as well. And for the St. Louis Cardinals, the start was given to Wade LeBlanc. LeBlanc would allow 1 earned run in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win would go to the Cardinals' fourth relief pitcher, Giovanni Gallegos. Gallegos would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. He will pick up his 5th win of the season as he's now 5-1. With this, or in their batting lineup, their center fielder, Dylan Carlson, will go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their left fielder, Tyler O'Neill, will go 2 for 4 with a run. And then their second baseman, Edmundo Sosa, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 runs. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 38-41. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central, as they've only won 3 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 8 games in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 22-58. That is currently the worst record in the National League West, and that is the worst record in the National League, and that is also the worst record in all of baseball. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 29 games in the division at the moment. Last but not least, jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the defending champs Los Angeles Dodgers hosted the San Francisco Giants. They were able to pull up a 3-2 win at home to pick up their 48th win of the season and inch just closer to the league's best San Francisco Giants. For the Giants in this matchup, the start and the loss would go to Anthony DeSclafani. DeSclafani would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's now 8-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Lamonte Wade, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He would hit his 6th home run of the season. Their catcher, Buster Posey, would go 2-for-5. Their third baseman, Wilmer Flores, would go a perfect 4-for-4. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, the start and the win would go to their elite starting pitcher, reigning National League Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer. He would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Trevor Bauer is now 8-5 on the season, and the save will go to their old reliable closer, Kenley Jansen, who allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in 1 inning pitch. He struck out a batter. Like I said, he picked up his 19th save of the year. In the batting lineup for the LA Dodgers, the only player with more than 1 hit was their elite right fielder Mookie Betts. He would end up going 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run as he would hit his 10th home run of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 48-31. That is the second best record in the National League West, as they have now won their last 4 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 2.5 games in the division, and they now currently hold on to the top National League wildcard spot as they sit a game and a half ahead of the second-place San Diego Padres. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 50-28. That is the best record in the National League West, the best record in the National League, and that is still currently the best record in all of baseball. They are currently on a 2-game losing streak as they've only lost 3 of their last 10. They currently sit 2.5 games ahead of the second-place Los Angeles Dodgers to give a sense of where the Giants are following this loss. So that is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Looking forward to what's going on today. As today is Tuesday, not a travel day, so all the games will really be kind of like night primetime games. Starting from the very top at 7:05. In New York, Jameson Taillon and the New York Yankees are going to host Andrew Heaney and the Los Angeles Angels. At the same time, at 7:05, Vince Velasquez and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Trevor Rogers and the Miami Marlins. Trevor Rogers is currently 7-4, sporting a 2.08 ERA. At the same time, at 7:05, Joe Ross and the Washington Nationals are going to host Rich Hill and the Tampa Bay Rays. Rich Hill is currently 6-2, holding a 3.52 ERA. At 7:07, Robbie Ray and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Chris Flexen and the Seattle Mariners. Robbie Ray is currently holding a 5-3 record and a 3.35 ERA. Chris Flexen is 6-3, holding a 3.87 ERA on the season. At 7:10, JC Mejia and the Cleveland Indians are going to host Jose Urena and the Detroit Tigers. At the same time, Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Brad Keller and the Kansas City Royals. Nick Pivetta is currently 6-3, sporting an ERA of 4 flat. At 7:10, Tony Santillan and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Blake Snell and the elite starting pitcher of the San Diego Padres. Tony Santillan is 1-1, currently sporting a 3.29 record. Blake Snell is currently 3-3, sporting a 5.29 record on the year. At 7:20, Charlie Morton and the Atlanta Braves are going to host Tyler McGill and the New York Mets. Charlie Morton is currently 7-3, sporting a 3.68 ERA on the year. At 8:10, Jose Urquidy and the Houston Astros are going to host the Baltimore Orioles. Jose Urquidy is now 6-3 on the season, sporting a 3.32 ERA. At the same time, at 8:10, Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Zach Davies and the Chicago Cubs. Brandon Woodruff is currently 6-3 with a 1.89 ERA on the year. At the same time, at 8:10, Lucas Giolito and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Kenta Maeda and the Minnesota Twins. Lucas Giolito is currently 5-5, sporting a 3.80 ERA. At 8:15 on ESPN+, Carlos Martinez and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Caleb Smith and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Caleb Smith is currently 2-3, sporting a 3.03 ERA this year. At 8:40, German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Chase DeYoung and the Pittsburgh Pirates. German Marquez is currently 6-6, holding a 3.99 ERA. At 9:40, James Kaprielian and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Mike Foltynewicz and the Texas Rangers. James Kaprielian is currently 4-1 with a 2.86 ERA. At 10 o'clock on ESPN, the Los Angeles Dodgers will host their divisional arch rival, the San Francisco Giants. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, they'll be led by their elite starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is currently 7-1, holding a 2.51 ERA, and taking the mound for the Giants for the first few innings will be Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman is currently 8-1 on the year, holding a 1.49 ERA. So that is what the MLB is looking like. Taking a quick glance of what's going on in the world of soccer in the very final day of group stages for Copa America. Argentina was able to beat Bolivia 4-1 as they were able to get a first half brace from their goated forward Lionel Messi, who actually turned 34 not that long ago. And then they would get a fourth goal from Lautaro Martinez in the second half to give them what they needed. With this win, they are now sitting on top of the Copa America table, on top of Group A. And right now they're going to face off against Ecuador after Ecuador finished last in Group B, because that's how the quarterfinals in Copa America is set up. But of course, I'll lead into that as we go into it. And then Uruguay was able to beat Paraguay 1-0, and the only goal will come in the first half off of a penalty kick from their striker for Man U, Edison Cavani. With this win, Uruguay now sits second in Group A, as now they will go on to have to face off against Colombia after Colombia finished third in Group B. That matchup will take place on Saturday, July 3rd. So right now that's what Copa America is looking like. Jumping out to what's going on with the European Championship. At the beginning of yesterday, there were 12 teams competing for for the Euro title. And at the end of the day, there were 10, and they both are jumping to the first game. Croatia faced off against Spain, and in the very first matchup, Croatia would score off of a Spain own goal to go up 1-0. Spain would score would get a goal from Sarabia to tie it up 1-1. They would score They would score two more goals in the second half by Azpilicueta and Ferran Torres to go up 3-1. Croatia would score in the 85th minute from Orsic to go down 3-2, and then they would get a goal from Pasalic in the 92nd minute in order to even it up, and they even it up in the last 10 minutes. They sent it in the extra time, and then once it went into extra time, Spain would get a goal from Alvaro Morata in the 100th minute, and then they would get a goal from Oyarzabal in the 103rd minute. And with this win, Spain would go off to face off against the winner of the next matchup of the day. And in the next matchup of the day, France, the winners of the 2018 World Cup, faced off against Switzerland. And in this matchup, the first goal will come from Switzerland from Seferovic in the 15th minute. And then they would go into halftime with Switzerland up 1-0. France would even the game up with a goal from Karim Benzema, and then he would score a second goal, maybe 2 goals later, for France to go up 2-1. Then Paul Pogba would score a third goal for France to go up 3-1. And then for Switzerland, Seferovic would score in the 81st minute to shorten the deficit to 3-2, and then Gavranovic would even up the game at 3 for Switzerland, and then it would go to penalties. Everybody would make their penalties, or at least like the first 9 penalty kicks, and then when it went to the second kick of the 5th round, it went down to the elite forward for France and PSG, Kylian Mbappe, and his attempt would end up getting saved by Jan Sommer, the starting goalie for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and the starting goalie for Switzerland. And with this win, Switzerland was able to knock out the 2018 World Cup champs in the round of 16, and they are able to face off against Spain in the quarterfinals. So of course that's what many people are going to be looking forward to. And as of right now, there are 10 teams competing for the Euro 2020s, and by the end of today, there are going to be 8. Looking at what's going on in the European Championship, starting at 12 o'clock. England is going to face off against Germany. England comes into this matchup after finishing top of Group D, winning 2 games and drawing 1. And Germany comes into this matchup finishing second in Group F, tied with Portugal virtually in wins, draws, and losses, but they scored, or they allowed less goals, so of course they got the edge over them, and Germany won versus Portugal head-to-head. So regardless, because of that, that is Germany's matchup. and the winner of that matchup will face off against the winner of the other game, and that'll be between Sweden and Ukraine. Sweden was able to make it into this round after winning Group E over Spain, as they won 2 of their games and drew 1. Ukraine made it into this round after Ukraine would finish 3rd in Group C behind Netherlands and Austria, as they won 1 game and lost 2. They were able to sneak right in. So, of course, this will be their chance to even to just sneak right past Sweden and be one of the 8 teams that makes the Euro 2020 quarterfinals. But with that said, that is everything that is going on for soccer as of today, and everything that's going on for all the sports as of today, Tuesday, June 29, 2021. I want to thank ESPN. I, of course, want to thank the NBA, NHL, MLB, and, of course, the corresponding soccer websites for giving me the facts and figures necessary to complete this episode. And with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 35 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are completed, I will come back tomorrow, Wednesday, June 30th, for another installment of The Elite. But until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I hope to catch you guys tomorrow for another episode of The Elite. And don't forget to stay elite yourselves. Peace out.